Hi everyone and welcome to Nonsense Whisky. My name is Vin PF and this is episode 6 of my little mini series of American whiskies, guest starring Brian the Cat. Oh, he's just going to kind of do what he wants for a bit and I'm going to get covered in cat hair. But anyway, this is episode 6 of American whiskey and I'm out in my back garden because we're having a bit of a heat wave in the UK at the moment and it's too hot in my usual study. And uncontrollable guests are not advised. Anyway, onto the dram itself. This is something a little bit special that a friend brought back for me from the States. This is the TX blended whiskey. Currently only available in Texas and surrounding states. This is made in Fort Worth, right next to Dallas. And this is their blended whiskey, which is a blend of bourbons, grains and malts from distilleries around the area. While they're kind of creating their bourbon, which has been released now and hopefully, as I'll go into a little bit later, should be receiving shortly. Not to be on this series, but maybe on a next little American series maybe. So this particular dram itself is quite interesting because they're very into their craft distilling, these guys. And this is the Firestone Robertson Distilling Company. Mr. Firestone, Mr. Robertson got together, they were friends, have been for years, and got together one day, discussed their mutual love of whiskey and didn't really know that either of them had aspirations of setting up any kind of distilling industry whatsoever. And one day it just came up in conversation and there and then they just decided to do it. So kudos to them. This, as I said, is a kind of an amalgamation of other things that they're not currently producing, and they're kind of making it their own with something that's a nice little touch that I like, that I'm just going to go through quickly. If you notice, on the cap of this bottle here is a little leather disc, and you may notice that this one is different. Well, when they first started, they were beg, borrowing and stealing to get boot leather to make these things here. And every cork is individual, every cork is hand cut, every cork is handmade, and you can see this wonderful video of them doing that. And there's so many different versions of it now. So now they've moved on from their boot leather a little bit, and they're kind of doing whatever leather they can get their hands on. Maybe even some special editions. I saw on a video recently that they did one for some firefighters in the area and got one of their uniforms, which is a really nice touch. But anyway, so all these corks are individual, and I'm sure I'll do a picture in a moment that shows this wonderful image I saw on Twitter the other day, and it's a little collection of the state of Texas, and the guy's collecting his corks. I think that's absolutely stunning, and it's definitely something to keep and shows their kind of ethos in craftsmanship and craft distilling. If this whiskey is anything to go by, then their bourbon is going to be pretty good. So let's move on to the dram itself. Now, we don't really know what's in it. I don't think that really matters, so we're going to go straight onto it and have a sniff. Oh, now the first thing you'll notice when you smell this, and you will because these guys are going to be huge. First thing you notice is just amazing vanilla notes. There's almost zero alcohol, like flavours in it at all. It's bottled at 41%, but it's not like any kind of whiskey I've ever smelt before. It smells more like a pudding. Let's have a taste. Now, you're getting that kind of that vanilla that I just said about, but it disappears, and you're getting that kind of normal things you expect from bourbons and even malts, to be fair. Touch of caramel. It's a little bit fizzy, which is interesting because it kind of, when you swallow it, kind of tastes like a cream soda, which is very interesting. And I might add, incredibly dangerous. It's so smooth, it's so easy to drink that if I could go down the shop like I could from last week's episode of the Jim Beam White Label, if I could go down the shop and pick this up for £12, £15 every week, every month, whatever, then you'd be laughing. But because I've only got a bottle and a half of this left, and I probably won't get any more for a long time, I've got to be careful with it. But it's so easy drinking. You can have I've poured myself a healthy measure there, and I'll enjoy that no end. I should say, I got this, a friend brought me this back from Texas when he visits with work, and he said, you've got to try this whiskey. So he brought me it back, and I fell in love with it almost immediately. But this one here, I wrote to Firestone Robertson just to tell them, just to ask them basically, when am I going to get this? Because in the UK we're dying for interesting and wonderful things, just to be, not even in the supermarkets, but just in the specialists or even available online, whatever. And a couple of weeks later I got a package, and I got a lovely note. I just want to show you this quickly, from Mr. Leonard Firestone, proprietor himself. I won't go into too much detail in that, but basically saying that he's really happy that I like the whiskey and would be glad to show me around. And they sent me a whole new bottle of it. So that one's going to sit there for a while I slowly enjoy this, but that's definitely going to get opened and shared amongst friends. I'm very willing to share, especially at the blogger events and things that I go to. But there you go, they're super generous, super craftsmen, and they make super blended whiskey, and I cannot wait to try their bourbon. They've actually been in touch with me recently and said that they're happy to send me a bottle of the bourbon as well. So fingers crossed, I'm waiting for that, and as soon as I get it, you guys will be the first to know what it's like. Well, if you're lucky enough to be in the area and you've got a bottle of this already, or you can get a bottle, I urge you to get it, and I would love to know what you think below. But that's it for this episode of Nonsense Whisky. I'll see you again on the Thursday for the next episode, and we're going to be on the back half now, so we'll try a few other things, back to an end big finale. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again on another No Nonsense Whisky.